Yo, hello, hello, hello. Thank you guys so much for joining today's video, tuning in today's video. Um, I'm going to be covering the weekly market outlook for November 4th till November 8th trading week. And let's get right into it. So, we do have a pretty eventful week next week with elections and FOMC on Thursday. So this is probably the most important news event this year, the presidential election and congressional elections. I guess that's basic. I mean, it's the same thing, but you be very mindful that we have elections on Tuesday, and we have FOMC and federal funds rate. I don't think we've ever. I'm not too sure. I've never seen this before, but yeah, we have FOMC on Thursday at 2. So coming into this week, it's going to be quite eventful. So I always start my analysis off on the dollar, right? So one thing that I do want to draw to your attention is that we are actually bullish here on the dollar. I do want to see higher prices here, on the monthly time frame at least. So October, during the October's candle we closed, and I do want to note that we closed above a monthly SIBI. So we closed above it, and it appears that if we don't get a immediate rebalance here on the November monthly candle, we are probably going to create a monthly BISI here too. So that's, I mean, we have 26 more days, so I don't want to say anything too soon, but what is concrete is that we did close above a monthly SIBI. So based on how we closed here on this monthly candle, here, I can anticipate that prices will take out the monthly high. So this is the monthly high. Let me make it in bold so you guys can differentiate it. So that's the monthly high, this little green line right here. And I am anticipating that the very next monthly candle, or the November's monthly candle, to be a open, low, high, close. So I'm anticipating for November to take out October's high, monthly high. So with that in mind, I am anticipating higher prices. And notice how we also created a weekly BISI here. And I'm not anticipating for prices to trade back inside this month or this weekly SIBI here. I want to see us take out the previous week's high first, and possibly previous month's high this upcoming week, because like I said, we have really strong economic drivers this week that could actually push prices towards the direction that prices wants to go in. And on the dollar, I want to see higher prices. So on the daily time frame, at least here on Monday's trading, I am anticipating for previous day high to get taken, or I want to see Friday's high of day get taken here. So that is what I'm anticipating coming into on Monday. But like I said, throughout this entirety of next week, I do want to see us take out previous week's high and possibly previous month's high as well. So that's my analysis on dollar. Like I said, we closed above the monthly candle, or we closed above the monthly SIBI here, which is not bearish price action. It is quite the opposite. And yeah, so like I said, my weekly objective is for prices to take out previous week's high. My monthly objective is for prices to take out previous month's high. And on Monday, I am anticipating for prices to, quite possibly create the open, low, tap into some sort of lower time frame PD array, and then take out previous day high, which is Friday's high of day. So that is what I'm anticipating. on the dollar, so higher prices on the dollar. And on NQ, it's actually the opposite. So I am anticipating lower prices here, right? On NQ, on the weekly time frame and the monthly time frame. So based on how we close here on the monthly and the weekly candle here, I am anticipating for prices to take out previous month's low and previous week's low. So if you're going to trade, which I don't recommend because this is actually, because this week is so volatile, I wouldn't recommend trading any longer trades like a swing trade per se, because like I said, we have really eventful market movers this upcoming week. So like I said before, I'm anticipating previous week's low to be taken, right? But let's just say that this next week we don't have FOMC or the elections, right? Let's just say that it's just the normal week. I would have taken a model with the previous week's low in mind. So the weekly model, like I said, I'm anticipating for previous week's low to be taken, right? And previous week's low is in confluence with the higher time frame. So the weekly model is in confluence with the monthly order flow. Monthly order flow is suggesting that we are going to expand lower here. So this would be known as an expansion model, which I'm going to get into more in depth once I create that YouTube video. But yeah, like I said, I would take a short at this 4-hour fair value gap or a rebalance of this daily fair value gap here to target previous week's low and then previous month's low. But that's, like I said, that's only if we didn't have such impactful news drivers this upcoming week. So like I said, my objective here coming into next week and in the next month is previous week's low and previous month's low. And on Monday, I'm going to be neutral. I would select to be neutral on Monday because I'm anticipating for prices to retrace back inside this daily fair value gap, or the way that we created this daily fair value gap here suggests that we could trade back into it, which is why I would wait. I want to see how prices trade at that daily fair value gap. But something is telling me that we probably won't retrace back into the daily fair value gap, even though the way we created this fair value gap suggests that we could retrace back into it. The reason being is on the lower time frames, we don't really have any displacement to the upside that would help us trade into that daily fair value gap to continue lower. It's kind of like lethargic. The move up to tap into that daily fair value gap is not that strong. So like we close below this hourly fair value gap here, and this isn't strong to the upside. So what I'm anticipating here is actually something like we opened up on Monday, trade into the 6-hour or 12-hour fair value gap to continue lower. We might not retrace back into the previous day high, or we might not retrace back or rebalance the daily fair value gap. Something to keep in mind. But for weekly and monthly objective at least, I am anticipating lower prices. There's no SMTs here yet between NQ and ES, which I'm going to get into right after this. But yeah, so lower prices is my foresight here up for the upcoming week on NQ. ES is the same thing, but I'm actually anticipating lower prices here on ES. So I do have a paper trade here. This is a paper trading account, as you guys can see here. But I'm anticipating for prices to take out previous week's low and previous month's low this upcoming week on ES. And the reason why I'm taking this on ES is because look at the relative equal lows here on ES, right? Pretty relative. So this is a market maker sell model here. So we have the original consolidation. This is the smart money reversal, and then we're completing the objective. So the objective, like I said, this upcoming week for ES is previous month's low and previous week's low. And this could be seen as an expansion model, right? Because previous week's, or the weekly candle, the weekly power of 3 is in confluence with the monthly order flow. So yeah, I mean, this makes sense to take. Same idea here is I'm not anticipating prices to trade back into the daily fair value gap, which it sounds kind of counterintuitive, because the way we created the daily fair value gap suggests is that we could trade back into this daily fair value gap because we didn't close below this low here. But because we didn't close below this little green line right here, it's telling me that we could actually retrace back into it. But the reason why I'm not going to take the entry at the daily fair value gap is because we are lacking displacement to the upside. We don't have any fair value gaps that would help us trade up higher to continue lower, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm taking my entry here at the 4-hour fair value gap right here. And my stop loss is basically at the weekly immediate rebalance. So I don't want to see prices have an immediate rebalance. And it's kind of basically at this high here too. Like I said, and this high is basically the weekly or the daily fair value gap low. And like I said, I don't want to see prices trade back into the daily fair value gap. But I mean, if we do, it's a paper trade. I don't really care. But yeah. Is there anything else I do want to go over with you guys? So you guys can join my Discord. I did post this already on Discord, so if you guys want, it's gonna be in the link in my description on YouTube. So join the Discord. I post these weekly analysis weekly. And yeah, so NQ, ES, I am anticipating both for lower prices. Something to keep in mind this upcoming week is, like I said, we have election and we have FOMC. Very, very volatile news events, and that's just something that you want to be aware of. Just be mindful, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else I want to go over on the weekly market outlook, but I do want to go over some trades this week, and I'll go for one with you guys. So one thing that I have been implementing here in my trading style, or just trading strategy in general, is that I'm going to start requiring a higher time frame objective with every trade I take. So why do prices move? I'm gonna let you guys think about that. So why do prices move? I'm sure you guys have heard this answer before, but the 4 reasons why prices move is to generate liquidity, to take liquidity, to rebalance inefficiencies. Inefficiencies are like fair value gaps, and to retrace back into discount and premium. So with that idea, I'm going to start implementing that into my strategy, right? So my first trade this week was actually on Monday, October 28th, 2024. And just by looking at this 15-minute chart here, coming into Monday, I didn't really have a bias. It was kind of unclear to me what the higher time frame or the daily draw was. So coming into the New York AM session, I was going to only trade intra-session models. So I'm not going to be shooting for previous month's high or previous month's low. I'm going to be shooting for what prices is giving me at that current moment. And at that current moment, like I said, we were in we didn't have a clear goal or a clear objective on the higher time frame. So I'm going to carry that onto the lower time frames, and I'm going to only shoot for what the lower time frames is telling me at that current moment. So the trade here is based off of this 15-minute model here. So this 15-minute power of 3 here, right? This 15-minute candle, I'm anticipating the next 15-minute candle to be a open, low, high, close, which means that I'm anticipating for this previous month's or previous 15-minute candle's high to be taken. And that's the model. But what's the higher time frame objective? So, like I said before, prices moves to rebalance inefficiencies, right? And what inefficiency are we going to rebalance here? This 30-minute fair value gap. Why do I say that we're going to rebalance this 30-minute fair value gap? The way we created this 30-minute fair value gap suggests that we are going to rebalance it. Why? Because we didn't close below this 30-minute candle's low. And that's based off of fair value gap theory. So because we didn't close below this candle's low here, and I'm going to always refer to this as the second fair value gap candle's low. So a fair value gap, right, is created by 3 candles. It's a three candle pattern. And essentially, prices didn't close below the second candle's low. So it's very objective. It's either it closed below or it didn't. And in this case, we closed above it. So pay attention to how this candle closed. We closed up here. We didn't close below it. We closed above it, above the second candle's low. So that means that we could rebalance this 30-minute fair value gap, which is essentially the model or the higher time frame objective. So I take the 15-minute model with the higher time frame objective of rebalancing the 30-minute fair value gap. So now I'm going onto the lower time frames to find an entry pattern, right? Whatever entry pattern that you guys use, if you guys are confident in the order blocks, if you guys are confident in inversion fair value gaps, if you guys are confident in breaker blocks, whatever PD array that you guys choose is up to y'all. But for me, I've always been a fan of fair value gaps. That's just how I'm wired. And it's, for me, a fair value gap's really easy to see because you can't be subjective about a fair value gap. It's either there's a fair value gap or there's not. For me, a order block, a breaker block, it's a little bit subjective, but a fair value gap, like if you open up your charts right now and I told you guys, okay, let's go choose a random candle. Take a look. So this is the 4-hour chart. Take a look at October 8th, 2024, the 10 a.m. candle. Is there a fair value gap here? Yes, there is. There's a fair value gap right here. And it's not subjective at all. Like, it's going to be here on your charts, which is why I chose the fair value gap as my PD array of choice. As I digress, let's go back to the actual trade itself. So there's displacement, right? There's a fair value gap on the 1-minute time frame. And like I said, I'm targeting the 15-minute high. I'm not targeting previous week's low or previous week's high. I'm targeting what the lower time frames, I'm taking what prices is giving me and I'm turning it into a model. And what prices is giving me at this current moment right here is for prices to rebalance the 30-minute fair value gap. It's not giving me a model to target previous week's high. It's not giving me a model to target previous month's high. It's giving me a model to rebalance the 30-minute fair value gap. So kind of play that back and understand there is reasoning behind not shooting for the stars. It's not it's not that you're limiting yourself, that you're being realistic with what the markets is giving me or is giving you currently. There will be models where prices is going to tell you that it's going to take out previous week's high or low, but you have to understand the current, that live present moment objective, what prices it wants to do at that moment. Maybe in a day, maybe in 2 days, maybe in 30 minutes, maybe in 4 hours is when prices will take out previous week's high or previous week's low, whatever that may be. But at that current moment, what is prices doing? And that's something that you should be able to answer. So that should be something that you should be able to answer if you're going to take a trade at that current moment, right? And at this current moment at 10:30, I'm anticipating for prices to rebalance the 30-minute fair value gap. And let me show you guys. Well, you guys can actually see it. This is the 30-minute fair value gap right there. So it's an indicator of mine. This is actually, all of these candles right here are the 1 minute time frame or 1 minute candles. But this is the 15-minute, this is the 30-minute, and this is the hourly. It's an indicator, and you guys can find that out in my indicators video. But yeah, I take my entry whenever prices trades back inside this 1 minute fair value gap, and it ends up being a winner. So prices dips into the 1 minute fair value gap, and we end up taking out the 15-minute high and the 30-minute high, that's all I'm shooting for here. That's it. After we complete that objective, I mean, I can let runners run, but I'm moving my stops to break even, and yeah. So that's going to be all for today's video. I know I haven't been really posting videos often. I have been neglectful, I guess I would say that, but I've been going to school a lot to study for my classes, and I don't really have the equipment to record videos at school. And yeah, but for sure I'm going to for sure it's guaranteed that I will be posting a video every single week on Sunday for the weekly market outlook. But yeah, if you guys are enjoying these types of videos and you guys want me to start posting more frequently, please put something into the comments. And then, if I know that there's people that are actually willing to watch these videos, then I'll actually put in time and effort into making them. But as of lately, I haven't really had that motivation to kind of put up videos, because I'm a smaller channel, but I do want this channel to grow. But if there's no one watching it, then I feel like the content that I'm putting out here isn't really going to benefit the community if no one's watching it. So yeah, I'm hoping that the videos that I've posted in the past will kind of be able to reach other people. So as more people come, then I'll start posting more videos. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and until next time, be safe.